Okay, so today we're going deep on something really interesting.
Yeah.
It's this video you sent me called "The Beauty of Islam: A Journey of Faith and Peace."
Right.
And right off the bat, it's very clear. It's meant to highlight
Sure.
the positive aspects of Islam. It's almost like a
Yeah.
highlight reel,
I agree.
you know.
Yeah.
But I think that's okay, to kind of get us started.
Yeah, it's kind of like an introductory video,
Exactly.
meant to pique your interest
Right.
and give you just a little taste of what's out there.
Yeah, and for me, what really stuck out was how much it focused on
Mm-hmm.
peace, love, compassion. Like the narrator actually says at one point, um, Islam teaches love, mercy, and compassion for all creation.
Yeah.
I mean, that really struck me. Is that
Yeah.
is that really like the heart of Islam, or is that just?
You
I
know,
think that
those are truly very core ideas in the Islamic faith. They're, echoed throughout the Quran,
Hmm.
in the Prophet Muhammad's teachings.
Okay.
But it's not, it's not just something that people say.
Right.
They're really integrated into how people practice.
Okay, well, give me an example of that, because it's easy to just say like peace,
Right.
but how does that actually like play out in someone's daily life?
Well, one example is zakat,
Okay.
which is one of the 5 pillars of Islam.
Right.
And it's, it's often translated as charity, but it's really about wealth redistribution.
Mm-hmm.
There's a deep understanding that
Yeah.
for society to be just, there needs to be a way for wealth to kind of flow to those in need.
Yeah.
So that's really compassion,
Right.
put into action.
It's a lot more than just like,
Yeah.
throwing some change in a bucket or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That way.
And then you also have Ramadan, which is a month of fasting and spiritual reflection. Fasting is something that you find in
Sure.
other faiths as well.
Mhm.
But in Islam, it's tied to really cultivating empathy for those who are less fortunate.
I guess it kind of gives you a sense of
Yeah.
what it's like, to not have enough.
Exactly. And the emphasis on family and
Mhm.
community in Islam,
Right.
that also really helps to reinforce those bonds of
Yeah, I can see that.
love and support.
Mm.
So, you really see these core values kind of playing out on all these different levels.
Yeah, you're right. And it's interesting because this video, it's not just telling us,
Right.
it's showing us too,
Mhm.
like the imagery is very deliberate.
It's,
The serenity of the desert sunrise,
yeah.
the Quran like bathed in this beautiful light,
Mhm.
Muslims praying in unison, like there's
Right.
a lot there.
Absolutely. The visuals are definitely adding
Right.
these layers of meaning. So, for example.
The desert.
Okay.
First it evokes the
Right.
birthplace of Islam, the Arabian Peninsula.
Uh-huh.
But it also speaks to this idea of spiritual purification.
Okay.
So that vastness, the emptiness,
Right.
it becomes this space for introspection,
Okay.
for kind of stripping away what's not really essential.
Like hitting a reset button.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then the Quran, highlight it like that.
Well, as the word of God,
Hmm.
it's, it's naturally central to the faith.
Yeah.
The way that it's portrayed and bathed in light,
Right.
that really elevates its sacredness.
Yeah.
You know.
And then, seeing those shots of
Yeah.
people praying together, like that's powerful.
Yes, that visually represents the concept of Ummah,
Yeah.
which is the global Muslim community.
Right.
It's a reminder that shared practices like prayer
Hmm.
create this sense of belonging, of
Yeah.
unity, no matter where you are in the world.
There's definitely a lot about connection going on here on all these different levels.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then it ends with this really bold statement, that Islam is a light for the world and a guide for the soul.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
Especially for someone who's not Muslim.
Yeah. So that statement reflects a belief that's, very central to Islam,
Okay.
which is that Allah's message is universal.
Okay.
It's meant for everyone.
Right.
It's about trying to create a just and harmonious world,
Okay.
guided by ethical principles
Mm.
and a commitment to serving others.
So does that mean like everyone should become Muslim?
Well, Islam encourages sharing its message,
Right.
but it also really emphasizes respecting people's freedom of belief,
Okay.
people choosing for themselves.
Right. Right.
So it's more about kind of the dialogue,
yeah.
sharing these values
Okay.
and seeing how they can benefit everyone.
But I guess what I'm thinking about is that, even within Islam itself,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of diversity.
Yes.
I mean, how do these, principles that we're talking about play out in different cultures?
Yeah, that's such
Yeah, with the different interpretations.
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
There's this incredible tapestry of cultures and perspectives within the Muslim world, and each one kind of, influences how Islam is understood and practiced.
Okay.
So, exploring those nuances,
Yeah.
a journey in itself.
Yeah, I think this video, it's definitely just the tip of the iceberg.
It is.
But it's given me a lot to think about.
Right.
And I guess for anyone listening, it makes me wonder,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of your own, personal beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
how can the values that we've been talking about here,
Right.
compassion, peace, service to
Yes.
others,
Yeah.
I mean, how can they inspire you to make a positive difference in your own life?
It's a great question to reflect on.
Yeah.
It really is.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the deep dive.
It was a pleasure being here.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.